So apparently cutting off your parents is the new self-care these days. We grew up in a society or in a world generally where they tell you parents and family is everything, and now you're getting told to block them and heal.
Block your toxic parent. Please just block them. Just go no contact with them for a month, 2 months, 3 months, and see how you feel after. A lot of our abusive, toxic parents crave the power of having contact with us. They love the power of being able to know what's going on in our life. They love the power of ruining our day. And if you truly want to take control of that relationship, you need to go no contact for at least a few weeks, at least a month, at least something. So this is your sign. If you've been contemplating going no contact with your abusive parent, partner, sibling, this is your sign to do it. And to give yourself peace of mind for a month or even more. You can't really heal from the toxicity if you're still in the toxicity, if you're still being affected by that toxicity. You need to be fully out of it and removed from it. So this is your sign, bestie. Go do it. Go block them right now.
Hi, this is Dee. Thank you for stopping by. I've been seeing a lot of videos pop up on my FYP, and it's literally a lot of people talking about going no contact with their parent. I thought, you know what, I should make a video on this because, you know what, I'm actually one of those people who literally opened my mouth and told me about how they actually went no contact with their parent. The first typical response I actually gave it, I said, why would you do that? That's your mom though. That's your dad. Like, these are your parents. Like, literally just go talk to them. So at the time when I was doing it, I didn't know how insensitive it was until I actually experienced meeting the parent. Okay,
stop telling people who are no contact with their parents that they need to either make things right, they need to talk to their parents, or that that's your mom. Like, how can you just not talk to her? I had someone on my live yesterday say that my mom is not guaranteed tomorrow, and that should give me the reason that I need to talk to her. Y'all only know the 2 stories that I've told y'all. I have 26 years worth of things that have happened. I just know that if it was my husband that was saying or doing the things that my mom has done, that y'all would not be telling me that I need to stay with him and talk to him and make it work. So why is it different when it comes to parents? I don't care who you are. I have boundaries. I'm not going to let people treat me just whichever way they want to treat me. Also, keep in mind that me being no contact with my mom was not an easy decision for me. It is not something I wanted to do or that I took lightly, and I'm still not happy about it. I don't want to have this sort of relationship. I don't want to be doing this, but I'm also putting myself first.
Before we get right into this video, I want to give a very big shout out to Charles for sending me a $2 super thanks. Thank you so much for always supporting the channel. I appreciate you so much. Please make sure you click the like button. It helps with the algorithm and I appreciate that. So let's get right into it.
Narcissistic parents sound like this. The past is the past. What do you want me to do about it? There was no rule book when I was raising you. Nobody taught me how to be a parent. When I was growing up, my parents would never allow me to do that. But no, my parents never let me talk to them like that. Who do you think you are? I don't think any millennial that has cut their parents off expected their parents to take accountability for the past. A lot of the times, we just want to know that there's going to be a better future. And because we know what it feels like to be manipulated and promised things that are not true, we're just not falling for it now. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news. We standing on business about this shit. It's not even that we expect anything to change. Like, we are okay with shit not changing. We're okay with leaving it as it is. 9 times out of 10, people that cut their parents off or cut their family off or written on contact, they're not thinking about that shit every day. They're totally fine. Most of the stress comes from the family while you're interacting with the family, not after you're done interacting with the family. I'm sorry. It's just what it is. What are some narcissistic statements that you've heard from family members?
These are the things that I didn't expect when I went no contact with my mom. I have been no contact with my mom on and off for the past 10 years, but I would say it's been pretty consistent for the last 5 or 6 years. When I say no contact, I mean no contact. I don't have her phone number. I don't have her address. She met my son, but only once when he was 2 years old, and now he's about to be 7 years old this year. And she's never met my daughter, and she has not met my fiance. And the one thing that I did not expect when I went no contact with her was the amount of people in my life that would meet me for the very first time, find out that I'm no contact with my mom, and then ask me to mend the relationship. They would just automatically assume that that was my first course of action and I did nothing to try to make the relationship between me and my mom work before I cut her off. And what I need for people to realize is that is the result of trying to make the relationship work. The no contact is the end of something. It's not the beginning of something. Typically, adult children that have gone no contact with their parents, that wasn't their first plan of action. They tried for probably many years to make the relationship with their mom or dad work. I know for me personally, there were years where my mom didn't take accountability. It wasn't just one conversation. True healing between two people cannot happen if only one person is acknowledging the trauma. And then even once the trauma is acknowledged, there needs to be a change in behavior. And it drives me absolutely insane when people just think, oh, you took the easy way out by just cutting her off. That was not the easy part. That was a very difficult decision. And it's a decision that I personally do not regret because I know everything that took place and I know that I'd made the best decision for myself. And as a result of not having contact with me, she also does not have contact with my children. And I've said this in a video before, but children, no matter what the age, do not owe their parents anything. And that includes contact with their grandchildren. Parenting is a one-way street. It always has been that way. It is a job that you do not get thanked for because your children did not ask to be here. You did not have to have them. I also didn't expect the fallout that would happen with other family members because of my decision to cut off my mom. There are family members that don't talk to me, mostly siblings, just because of the fact that I won't have a relationship with our mom. And that's okay too, because although we have the same mother, I do realize we had a different experience with her based on the amount of time that we spent around her. I'm just saying, if you meet a person and find out that they're no contact with their parents, please respect their decision. And keep in mind that it is always the parent's responsibility to mend that relationship. It's never the child's responsibility, no matter how old they are.
Let me tell you something. Do not mess with anyone that has ever gone no contact with their parents because we are a special breed. I'm not out here being like, ooh, look at me, I'm cool for going no contact. No, because shit's painful as fuck. But what I am saying is that the people that have had to do that, which is by far for me, the most difficult and most painful thing that I've ever had to do. And I say don't mess with us because the level of pain, but also the level of commitment it takes to honor our peace, to honor our boundaries, to do what it is that we need to do to preserve our wellness and our well-being is, I mean, you can't compete with that. And it's something that since I've done it, I realize like, oh my gosh, if I can do that with them, I can do that with anyone. I can make sure that I am adhering to my boundaries and honoring myself with anyone. And the story is a story within itself for another video. But what I will say is, as painful as this experience has been, it has also taught me so much about myself in terms of what I can actually deal with, what I can actually cope with, the magic, the skills, the healing that I have within myself to be able to persevere, to be able to navigate this experience, and to ultimately say to myself, you are worth it. You are worth the investment. You are worth being chosen. You are worth so much. And when you go through this deep level of pain and healing, because those two things can happen at the same time and simultaneously, you recognize that nothing is worth jeopardizing your peace. No relationship, no amount of interest, no environment is worth jeopardizing your peace. It's just not worth it. And that's not to say that you can't grieve or mourn relationships or that you can't reconcile. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is there are moments in life in which we will have to be met with the decision on whether or not we feel like we are worth investing in, and also getting to a point where we recognize, you know what? I need to make the decision. And that decision may include walking away from a situation. It may include a really difficult time, but it can also allow for growth. It can also allow for healing. It can also allow for so many things. And when you go through this level of freaking healing, what's something else? Okay? And if you want more of this type of content, follow for more.
Now, I don't understand why some parents act so surprised when their kids go no contact, knowing damn well you treated that kid like a servant more than you treated them like a child. Now, don't get me wrong, there's some amazing parents out there. But then there's a select group of parents that traumatize their kids, that never allowed their kids to speak, never created a safe space. And to be honest, you're one of the reasons why your child deals with so many different issues like anxiety, because you stressed that kid out. That kid never was allowed to be a kid because you forced them to grow up fast. Now, a lot of parents are going to say, I was young, I tried my best, I did everything I could. That still doesn't mean that you ever had the conversation where you apologize for all the wrongs that you did to your child. If you as a grown adult, 40, 50, 60 years old, still can't self-reflect and listen to your child vent about the things that they went through, and you're just going to dismiss their feelings, that's why they don't want to talk to your ass no more. I understand this might make some of you mad, but a lot of these kids don't ask to be here. You sat up there and had that child. You sat up there and brought that child into this world. Now, if you did it in an irresponsible way and or you had a child before you was ready, are you going to put that onto the kid? Or are you going to take responsibility for your actions? At the end of the day, a lot of kids would love to love their parents and have that relationship. But a lot of adults act like fucking kids.
I've always had some amount of anger for people who literally had a bad experience, right, by someone in their life, and then the person treated them badly, and then now when it comes to their turn to actually do something, instead of trying to change it and be like, hey, I had a bad experience and I do not want to pass that down, no, instead they literally will do the same thing to you. Like they could even do worse and be like, you know what, I was treated that way and I should do that too. And it's like, if you knew your experience that you had was bad, then why are you trying to pass it down and do the same thing to someone else? Like, what is wrong with you? Like, so people that do that, I actually find like, what is wrong with your brain? Like, why are you okay with doing that? An example of this is when I started hearing that a lot of people are into trades and HVAC and stuff like that. When those younger guys actually try to go and learn from the older people, be an apprentice to them, they literally will tell them, oh, I'm not gonna teach you much, honestly, because the person who was ahead of me, who was supposed to teach me during my own time, they didn't teach me properly. They didn't want to teach me. I struggled to be taught. Like, they literally didn't want to teach me, so I'm gonna do the same thing or even do worse. And it's like, what is wrong with you? Like, if you didn't like the experience while this was being done to you, why do the same thing to someone else? Like, make it make sense.
I don't buy it when people say, oh, your parents were just doing the best with what they had. They did not know any better, when speaking about abusive parents, or any abusive person in your life for that matter, because they absolutely knew better. And you could tell this by the way they interact with strangers. My parents, for example, were very kind and generous to people outside the home. They were very polite, very considerate, went out of their way for others to do good deeds, all the things that they were not with me. They could have said the most verbally abusive things to me 1 hour and even get violent, and then if they saw a neighbor the next hour, they knew exactly how to be sweet and make sure those neighbors knew that nothing was wrong. So my parents absolutely knew right from wrong, and they knew how to make sure that others knew that nothing was wrong. Because if they really believe that what they're doing is not wrong, why do they have a second face with strangers? So if you're doubtful about whether that abusive person in your life really doesn't know better or not, see how they behave with people who aren't you. Because if they're trying to conceal that behavior with strangers, they know better. They know what they're doing is wrong, but they are saving all that wrong for you, and that's what makes it an abusive situation.
I'm going to hold your hand when I say this. I didn't before, but I'm doing it now. But your toxic parent is never going to take accountability. They're not going to apologize, and they're not going to change. Okay?
Estranged parents, it is not what you did. It's what you're doing actively still right now today. Okay, I'm going to repeat this for those of you in the back. It is not what you did 20 years ago. It is what you are doing still today. I don't know how I suddenly got on the estranged parent side of TikTok instead of the estranged adult child side of TikTok, but the wallowing, the pity parties, the denial, the complete lack of accountability, the lying to yourself and others that is happening over there. Jesus Christ. If you're an estranged parent who's on here wallowing about like, nobody's perfect, why is she mad about something that happened when she was 8? I can already tell that you aren't listening to a damn word that comes out of your child's mouth. The vast majority of adult children who become estranged from their parents do so because of their parents' current, repeated, persistent behavior. Nobody is going no contact with you because you got them rollerblades instead of roller skates for their 10th birthday. People are going no contact with you because they don't want to be friends with somebody who calls the waiter slurs at a restaurant. For you, all of the times you've lost your temper and said incredibly personal, hurtful, deep insults that were unrelated to the topic of conversation because you knew you could. For you, that's a one-off. For your adult child, that is all they can think of when they think of you because you do it so much. It is normal not to want to have a relationship with somebody who treats other people like shit. Why would you want to be friends with somebody who you witnessed treating other people like shit? Why would we witness you treating other people like shit and yet somehow convince ourselves that we're different and you would never do that to us when you have done it to us 1,000,001 times already? Here's what's happening in a large number of cases. Your adult child tells you, I cannot deal with this behavior anymore. You come up with some tearful apology again for the rollerblades versus roller skate thing. Your kid says, thank you for apologizing for that, but that isn't the problem. The problem is the horrible way you are treating people this week. And you keep crying about the roller skates, and then you get online and say, I apologized for the roller skates. Why is my child holding this over my head? No matter the fact that most adult children who become estranged explicitly tell their parents, number one, your current behavior is the problem. And number two, I cannot maintain a relationship with you until that behavior changes. You have been told that explicitly, and yet you are still trying to make it about what happened when your child was a child for 2 reasons. Number one, it means you don't have to do shit about your current behavior. You can act however you want. And number two, it gets you a lot of sympathy from your friends. Y'all gotta pick at this point. You can pick accountability and stop getting brownie points from your friends and have a relationship with your adult child, or you can pick no accountability, keep getting whiner brownie points from your friends, and no relationship with your adult child. Those are the options, okay? Those are the options that we have. Suck it up and pick one. There are no participation trophies. If you are acting a bad way that is making people not want to be around you, there is no world in which acting a worse way to the people who don't want to be around your badness makes them want to be around it. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
This has legitimately been one of the most transformative years of my life, and also one of the hardest years of my life. Like, I don't know if I would be able to pursue the things that I pursued this year if I wasn't doing it, you know, on my own and not having that kind of support that I needed. But for someone to think that they would ever have access to me ever again after everything that went down is, to me, it's like literal insanity. Like, why do you think the passage of time will ever make up for an apology? I'm at the point where an apology doesn't even make up for an apology, because it's like, how can you do this to someone who is your child? Like, that's the part that's every single time I go back to it and every single time I think on it, I'm like, how can you do this to someone who is your child? Like, that is the part that stumps me every time. And if it was just one thing, I'd be like, you know, God, you know, parents, like, you know, they're not perfect. This is their first time being parents. Like, I'm more than willing to give them grace, but there are just certain things that you cannot unsee and you cannot unfeel. Like, that's the thing. Finally, my Uber gets here and I'm literally like about to start leaving, and he goes, you know, we should meet up for lunch sometime and like talk. And I literally told him, I'm like, you lost those privileges 2 years ago when you kicked me out. Why, in my right mind, why would I ever want to have a conversation with someone who saw me at probably my lowest while I was literally fighting to like figure stuff out for myself? Why would I want to have a conversation who saw me at my lowest and made it worse? Regardless of what that person's role, whatever role they played in my life, whatever role it was, why would I want to have a conversation with them? And then that's the thing, like, you know, when you say things like this, people tell you you're stubborn. When you say things like, people tell you, oh, well, you know, one day your parents are gonna need you when they're older. One day your parents are gonna pass away. One day your parents are gonna fill in the blank. You actually rip what you sow. Like, in this life, you, even if you don't rip it now, you rip it in the afterlife still.
why would I make time for someone who didn't make space for me in their home, right? When you say this, they'll say you're stubborn, they'll say you're disrespectful, they'll say you're rude, they'll say, you know, you're not forgiving, like all of these words, all of this Bible speak. And I'm like, nobody knows the Bible more than African parents do. I'm telling you this right now. They will quote from Genesis to Revelation, and yet at every single time, at every single point, they will disappoint you. And I'm not saying people are perfect. I'm not perfect. I don't expect perfection from anybody in my life. But it's just the level of hurt that they're able to inflict without being able to self-reflect. And even if they can self-reflect, they're incapable of apologizing. An actual genuine apology with changed behavior, I don't think it's something a lot of them are capable of. And honestly, that's a conversation for another day. With that being said, I hopped in my Uber and I left, and I came to my peaceful ass apartment. And for that, I will always thank God. Shout out to God for this apartment. Because I always remember literally the day that this happened. I had come the next day. So it happened in the night, right? It happened in the night. He was like, I never want to see you in my house. I never want to see you in my life, blah, 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 blah. Sent me that whole paragraph. Was all around the house on the call with his friend, saying how ungrateful I am, how disrespectful I am, how this, that, and the third I am. Calling everybody, by the way. And again, refusing to have a conversation with me. I remember that night, I was literally crying, and I was telling him, I was like, I don't like the way that you talk to me. Like, if you want to talk to me, you don't have to yell at me to like have conversation with me. When I have a problem with you, I don't come at you yelling. Why would I even think about that as an African child? You know, they will whoop your ass, first of all. Like, why would I come at you like with that kind of energy?
You want to know what's crazy? After I went no contact with my mom and basically my entire family, I started receiving so many blessings. When I was still in contact with my mother and she was draining my life force, like literally draining my life force out throughout my whole life. And when I finally had enough and gathered some strength from I don't know where to leave that situation, my blessings started pouring in like that. All of my manifestations started coming to me in physical form just like that. And I'm sitting in my mother crib, I'm sitting in my family crib, and it's just like nothing is happening for me. The stagnancy was crazy. The depression was crazy. The anxiety was crazy. And even though I'm sitting here planning my escape, planning all these things, you know, I know there's a way out. I could not execute it while I was there. Like, when people say you cannot heal where you was hurt at, that shit is so real. Because I'm the most stubborn person on planet Earth. Nobody can tell me I can't do something somewhere. The fuck? I was like, you know what? I'm going to make the best of this situation. I know it's toxic. I know what I'm facing, but I can still do it while I'm here. No. I literally had to physically leave with nothing but my sanity, because I had to tell myself, you know what, when it comes down to it, what's really important? Like, I need to keep my mind. I can't lose my mind. I could lose everything else I have. I don't give a fuck about. But when it comes to my mind, I can't afford to lose my mind. Okay? And even under that, being under all of that spiritual warfare, living under my family roof, I realized I really just had to take a step out and just move by faith, not by sight. Move by my own faith. My own faith. Okay? But as soon as I literally cut these people out of my life, I kid you not, like, I always thought that only bad things could happen to me. Like, since I was little, I expect bad things to happen to me. And it's like throughout this journey, the past 2 years of me just trying to get myself together, get my life together, as soon as I cut off all of these people that wasn't even supposed to be in my life for this long. Are you kidding me? And it's just further confirmation that what I thought and what I was feeling while I was there was true. You know, I was thinking to myself, am I going crazy? Are these people, like, do these people really hate me that bad? Am I crazy? After I left, I realized, no, you're not crazy. These people want to see you do bad. These people have ill intention for you. And that's why you felt like, was my manifestations working? They were, but I needed to be in a different space to receive it, if that makes sense.
I have heard someone actually say they only genuinely dislike children. they love kids when they are little. Like they love the fact that they could decide what they want, like what the kids would want. Like, oh, this child is gonna need this. I want you to put on this clothes. You're gonna eat this. You're gonna do this. You're gonna do that. Like literally, they could control that person. So they like that, the fact that children are like that. And once they notice that those children are actually people and humans, they grow up and actually have their thoughts or things that they like that is outside of what they might like, have a certain style, a certain outfit that they want to wear, a certain type of clothes that they want to wear, food that they want to eat, they're thinking what their interest is in life. That is when they start having like this problem. Like they're like, what? Wait, what? So some people, like there's some parents who literally can only love you as a child.
Parents really expect to not show any interest or liking to their children's personality or their hobbies or just life in general, their internal world, and then wait till that child becomes an adult to place the responsibility of an authentic, loving connection on the child. Because the truth of the matter is that a lot of our parents didn't really want children. They felt like children, getting pregnant, getting married was the natural next step. It's something we're supposed to do. It's something we should want. But they didn't want to be parents. Maybe they wanted children, but they didn't want to be parents. So you wait until they become adults to now avoid accountability again and say, oh, we're not close because you aren't reaching out to me. We aren't close because you don't want to call me back. You don't want a relationship with me. When from 0 to 18 or 0 to 25, you had chances to establish a closer relationship, a more intimate relationship. And yeah, no, we're not doing that.
My parents are both peaceful, like they're not really like the drama type or those like troublesome narcissists. Like they're very okay to work with. Okay, so they're okay with working with, and I could live with my parents forever. Like I could live with them till I grow old. It's just gonna be normal, basic, problems you have with family. That's just it. But it's not like that serious. I have 4 siblings, but I really cannot pinpoint to you like who is the favorite for my parents. So that's how, like, I feel like honestly they did their best. They did well. So that's the reason, because I cannot say, oh, like this person is favorite, because I feel like at the end of the day we still get like love. Like I feel like we're all loved. The reason why I felt guilty and I'm like, oh, I had to make this video was when I actually had to experience some other people's parents, and I saw that and I was like, damn, like, so some people can be toxic. Like you can give birth to a child and genuinely treat them like an enemy, and it's like, that's a very terrible thing. The whole guilt tripping and saying I did what I had to do and stuff like that. Like, oh, I raised you, I did this, I did that. It's like, that's just something you're supposed to do. You should be appreciated for your efforts, but don't like force that. Don't force that and use that as a weapon for you to treat people any type of way.
You do not owe your parents for them raising you. When we have kids, it is our job to raise them and provide for them. They didn't choose to come into this world. We chose to bring them into the world. That makes it our responsibility. If your parents raised you with the expectation that you would please them and give them and do for them whatever they want and allow them to treat you however they wanted for the rest of their life, that isn't love, that's manipulation. Only a self-centered parent would provide for their kids basic needs for 18 years and then expect their child to sacrifice their mental health, their life and relationships for the next 38 years. You're not obligated to your parents. Being kind to them and respecting them is great if you want to do that, but you don't owe them for them doing their job.
If you had this terrible life, I really hope that you find people that genuinely love you, because at the end of the day, family isn't just about blood. It's also about people that will be there for you, that will show up for you. I love you so much. I know they say the place you can get unconditional love from is from your parents, but honestly, some love is conditional. There are some children that are really terrible. Some kids are terrible. You give birth to them, you raise them as much as you can, but they could turn out to be terrible people. And what do you have? You don't have an option. You can't keep loving somebody who's terrible. It's okay to love some people from a distance, actually, if your mental health is messed up and you want to protect it. But sometimes also we need to check with ourselves and see if we are actually good people, or we just want to say everybody around us is bad, or we just have an eye where we see everybody else as bad and not look at our own behavior. Sometimes you have to evaluate the whole thing, check your own behavior and check the person's behavior, because there are some kids that are actually bad to their parents. Kids can be bad to their parents too. If these are your experiences, you are sane, and I hope you get all the love that you deserve that you never got from those people that were supposed to love you. You've made it to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching this video to the very end. I really appreciate you so much. Please don't forget to click the like button. It helps with the algorithm and I appreciate that so much. And hit the notification bell to get notified every time I post a new video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. I will see you on the next one. Bye for now.